is a company that actually want to help people to get track of their finance and help them to get track on their financial life. So
Thanks.
now 8 minutes starts now.
All right, so we're from Romania. My name is Dumitru. I'm the CTO of the company. We also have Cosmin in the audience somewhere. He's our CEO. We want to put the open banking at work. This is our theme. 1 year ago, when we discovered and started researching about PSD2, we thought that PSD2 is this magic API that will enable all the mobile app developers to connect to all the banks in 2 hours. So we were super excited, but then over time we figured out that PSD2 is just a guideline, right? So that's why we identified the problem in the thing that you see this PSD2 flavors appearing here and there, like STAT, Open Banking UK, Berlin Group. We see a bit of complexity of actually using the PSD2. We also consider that there is a high barrier to entry. So in order to actually use PSD2 APIs, you first need to have a company, you need to have 50K in your bank account, you have to have a team like legal and operations to actually submit for a PSD2 certification. And last but not least, we were a bit disappointed with the developer experience while working with different banking sandboxes. Actually, I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised about the sandbox at Citi, really good quality, but I cannot say the same thing about other sandboxes that we work for. So there's a problem. Obviously, we thought about the solution. What we're building is a PSD2 aggregation solution. So it's basically a middleware. We take data from, we speak all these PSD2 flavors, and we enhance the data in different ways, and then we present it to our audience, which is mainly mobile application developers, right? So here today, I'm talking about mainly about the middleware that we're building, but the example that I'm going to show in the demo, it's actually a mobile app that uses this middleware. So mobile application developers have different needs in the way they access data, the way they expect real-time access. They have different requirements that can be satisfied only by this level of middleware. So what we like to say is the complexity should stay in the backend, so in the middleware level, so the users see nice applications like this. Now, this is a bit technical slide. I'll just go through briefly. So on the left side, you see the banks and all the PSD2 flavors. For example, in Romania, we see Berlin Group a lot. In Hungary, we found a bank that uses the Open Banking UK PSD2 flavor. So we want to talk. We want to connect to all these banks, get the data, enhance it in what you see there in the middle. So we add a layer of security. We want to have this unique FINQ identity solution for users that connect from mobile apps to actually use one single ID to access their data. We want to enhance the data. What enhanced data is actually we're dragging the data through PSD2 APIs, which is quite basic. So things like transactions, balances, account information. We want to enhance it with things like merchant information, location information, and we want to present it further to the mobile app devs, right? We also are researching into adding machine learning models on top of certain behaviors of these users. We want to have this data indexed in order to be very easily searchable. If, for example, somebody wants to build an application that wants to do some data analysis on top of this data. And last but not least, we want to have this perfect developer experience through a developer portal. At the exit, like what is at the other end, what goes to the mobile app developers, it's things that they really like. So the REST thing, it's actually the classic ways application developers access data, so the REST APIs. But then we want to also make use of different other standards, the modern standards that these application developers are expecting. So things like GraphQL, this is a standard, an alternative to REST that was developed by Facebook. gRPC was developed at Google. WebSocket is something that presents data real time. So all these needs of our target audience, which is the mobile application developers, is something that we have huge focus on. Now, why would Citi work with us as a middleware solution? All you saw in the other slide is basically the layer of security, the layer of data caching, the layer of enhancing the data. This is something that we consider as an extension arm to Citibank infrastructure. We also see ourselves as a potential innovation partner. So things like if Citi has new ideas, new APIs, they want to test them, they need this fast feedback loop from application developers. This is something that we see ourselves as a good business partner. And not to ignore the revenue stream, right? So basically the way you can monetize API extensions such as merchant or location. We have a nice mix of skills in the team: banks, technical, mobile. This is our extended team where we have marketing and PR and things like this. And this is a description of our demo that I will show in a few seconds. So what is ready from our solution? In the middleware part, we have the security, we have the FINQ we have this enhancing of the data module and the querying. And then I'll show you this mobile app that actually uses the middleware, right? So let's go through the demo. As you can see, we are mobile first. We present. So this is an example of a mobile app that uses our middleware. This is a very nice personal finance manager app that we developed. Very simple to use. It drags information from multiple banks. This is where I use the FINQ ID, right? This FINQ ID is actually very important because imagine if I develop today a mobile app and I do these connections to all the banks, and tomorrow I'm building another mobile app, for example, for Volkswagen App Store that want to make use of this banking data. They don't need to actually go through all the process again because the data is already there. So this is the value of this unique FINQ ID. So what you see here, there are a few banks that are already connected. I can go to the choose bank. I can choose Citi. And this is where I'm connecting. I'm using the Citibank sandbox, where I put my username. Okay, oops. This is unfortunately something. Okay. Login. This is where I'm consenting to for the middleware to access the data, right? Come on. Right. So at this moment, Citibank is connected. I'm loading the transactions. Now I can see the Citibank API. It was added. I drag the transaction. I can go through the transactions. I can have some sort of analytics of the data that was done. So based on my purchases, I can see the transactions, the values, which bank was used, and so on. Right?
We love demos.
Cool.
We love demos. If you want to continue for half a minute, we can grant you half a minute from your Q&A time.
Yeah. Actually, this is pretty much it. This is a brief example of a mobile app that uses our middleware. The fact is, we want to eat our own dog food, right? So we want to first test and attract as many developers as possible, us included. So we want to build mobile apps on using this middleware, and at some point to find a way to monetize the middleware, right? So for now, we're working with partners like MasterCard in Romania, with Wirecard, to build consumer apps using the middleware. But then at some point we want to monetize as well this middleware that I was talking about.
So it's FINQware and questions.
Thank you. So my question is, because we are business guys here, and this is, I understand, the technology solution. So if we look from the business perspective, what would be the benefit for me when I'm building the application from the business perspective of this solution? Because the way, I'll try to say how I understand that, and you'll correct me, because for sure my understanding is wrong, or at least I think so. So the way you do it is, today for me to connect to other banks, I would need to have some technology development on my side, and my application to speak with different APIs, or my backend to speak with different APIs, and this data to be then, displayed in application, let's say, in application. What you provide, and I'm not sure if I'm correct in that, is that you do the work on the back, so you actually standardize those APIs, you connect to the other banks, and you provide me like one pipe with all of the data, same format.
Enhanced.
And enhanced, right? So I'm responding to my own question. So, but at least now I'm sure that I understand. So the benefit of that solution is actually that you aggregate everything in the back and you give me one part. So now the question is, are your plans to connect to all the banks, to all the institutions? So how do you plan to do it? What banks are you planning to do upfront? Do you already have some experience in Poland? Like, what's your next steps, and how do you want to enhance the solution actually?
Yeah. So thanks for the question. So we were trying to use as many sandboxes that we can see in the open. So we were very happy actually that Citi opened up the sandbox for us. We're going to focus on the CEE region. Okay, so we have like around 350 banks. Fortunately, there are some commonalities, so it's not like I'm connecting in a very, very different way from one bank to the other. So remember, you have the PSD2 guideline, but then you have different, 4 or 5 different flavors of PSD2, and we implemented a few of those flavors. So we have, for example, the STEP, we have the Berlin Group, we have Open Banking K. So so around 350 in this region. We started with what was like the low-hanging fruits. We found one in Hungary, one in Poland, one in. We also work with integrators who actually build the API gateways, such as IBM, for example. So IBM has the solution of PSD2 gateway that they implement in different banks. So we implemented their gateway. So then, the moment we go to all these banks, we already have the API implemented. So yeah, step by step, it's interesting work.
I have one more question. The question,
please. Okay, guys, when you're asking questions, except for the jury, please state where you're from, so that they know who they're
Okay, Maciej, MasterCard. One simple question. You said that you will provide a solution for the mobile developers and mobile applications. Do they also have to be like PSD2 compliant and licensed, or do your license cover them?
So yeah, that's a very good question. So our license will cover it. All right. So basically, our middleware, we as a company, we have the company established. We have the money, the team necessary to actually get from the national bank the PSD2 certification. So for the average mobile app developer, the barrier to entry to actually use PSD2 APIs to be as low as possible. Okay.
All right. Time's up. Thank you very much for the presentation.